Sorry for the delay, everyone. All right, well, welcome to the December 14th Pawling Joint Sewer Commission. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
Joe, did you make it on?
I did, yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. So normally this is the open of the meeting, so I'm a little confused with this.
I don't know, this is just what I was always given.
All right, well,
That's what I was given.
I'm gonna
Open
go a little different then. So tonight is our public hearing for our budget. So what I'd like to do is get a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we have worked on this budget. You can see in the red where we have shortfalls with the current 2023 budget. So we have done our best to predict what might be in the future for 2024. And of course, we have had, as everybody knows, the cost of everything has been increasing. So our fuel and electric and our O&M, everything has been going up tremendously. So does anybody have any questions regarding the budget? Okay, so open up for public comment. Does anybody have any questions or comments regarding the?
Is it just
I'm
stand
sorry,
out here?
you can stand there, say
Okay.
who you are and where you're from.
I'm Harvey Matkovsky. I'm a resident of Holmes, New York. And I'm here, my background in budgeting is I'm a certified financial planner. And as Mrs. Snow will verify, when it came to, I was on the school board for 10 years and I'd ask questions about the budget. I always asked questions. They were always properly answered. I always look at the big items.
Okay.
I'm looking at personnel and administration. Does that include the $40,000 in stipends for elected officials?
There's a second sheet.
I'm looking at the first page where there's $115,000.
Right, but did you?
Does that include the $40,000?
I understand that, but are you looking at the second page? That's where it breaks that line out.
Thank you, sorry.
You're welcome. So that breaks out that entire 115,000.
Okay. All right, so there's a total of $43,604 in stipends. These are non-salaried people who I assume are.
These are the commissioners sitting at the
commission.
table.
And the commission, okay.
All these are commissioners sitting here.
We're missing Jim.
And we're missing a second.
I mean, you
category.
call them the commissioners.
Yes.
There's a town planning board and there's a zoning board of appeal, and they have the same thing in the village. To call these by other than who they are, citizens and you know, you call them commissioners, so they get $5,500. Do they do any? Everybody's a commissioner. Is that correct?
For the Pawling Joint Sewer
Who's
Commission.
They're all commissioned.
Our board is considered a commission, so they are commissioners that sit
Oh, okay, because
on the commission.
you use the word considered. They are considered, okay,
Well-
not members, not trustees, but commissioners.
Well-
So that entitles them to get a stipend of $5,500 to hopefully put in what work? I mean,
Overseeing the operations of the joint commission. reviewing all of this that we have on the agenda, doing research and homework, voting, coming to monthly meetings,
Involved in the design, the construction of the sewer plant? I mean,
making
that-
decisions on how money is spent. That's what, just like a town board or a village board.
Just like,
you
I
have
look at
board
it
members.
in a
Just
different
like a
vein.
school board, all right, let me put it into your,
Oh, well,
on a school board.
Ask Mrs. Snow, who's been the school
There's
board
no
president.
pay.
We
Oh.
don't
Well,
get
but-
any salaries.
Okay, well-
Okay, so it's done, the stipends
Okay.
are arbitrary. Okay? I'm trying to equate them to the planning board and the zoning board of appeal, who get $1,000 stipends. And I assume and come once or twice a month, and I assume do their homework and do an awful lot of work. Why are the citizens,
Okay, well,
this should be a citizen commission,
Harvey,
and why are they only elected officials?
Harvey, I'm going to say that.
Okay, I
the-
made my point, okay?
Okay, the sewer commission, I would think, would be similar to a village board or a town board, not necessarily a planning and zoning board, if you're gonna make comparisons.
I respectfully disagree,
Okay, you can.
okay? I see an increase of $10,000 in legal fees. Without getting specific, and I know you can't, why have the legal fees gone up by 50%?
Well, can you see in the column in the middle, in red, we are short $7,800 in the current budget due to legal fees. So, when you plan for the next budget, I don't wanna have a shortfall again, so,
So we had unexpected legal fees.
no, they're not
Well,
necessarily
at this
unexpected.
time last year, you had a budget and the expenses exceeded the budget from a year ago. So there were unexpected legal fees.
Yes, you're right,
Well, I mean,
you're right, Harvey.
I don't want to get more specific and talk in accountant terms, but
Okay.
that's basically, is there an explanation as to why you off by the $8,000 or $10,000
Well,
in legal fees? What precipitated this increase?
We've had some lawsuit issues that needed to be addressed, and that was probably the brunt of it, was a lawsuit that was against the sewer commission. And that was the brunt of the unexpected legal fees.
Okay, explain. So it's disturbing that these lawsuits come, but
It is, but we have no, you
No
know,
control.
we have no control over that.
okay. There's a nice, first of all, let me acknowledge Phil DeRosa, and he is always the guy that looks at finances and money on the town board. And I would hope that, I think he'll do his job. I'm convinced of that, because I've seen him get into the nitty-gritty and details on the town board. I hope that Mr. DeRosa will continue as a trustee. Now, that there are 7 commissioners, correct?
Correct?
Okay. There's a need for 7 commissioners? There's only 5 town board members and 5 village trustees. Why are there 7 commissioners?
Well, we need both joint representation from the village and the town. And if we wanna go back in history, the sewer plant used to be just the village, it was in complete village control. The sewer used to be only in the village, and then when we branched out into the town, it became a joint sewer commission with town representatives.
So you're just adding to 2 more arbitrarily. Wouldn't it have made as much sense to instead of having the 5, it's my understanding that every one of the 5 village trustees is also a member of the sewage commission.
Correct.
Wouldn't it be best if there would have been two town members, and I think that makes a hell of a lot of sense. I mean, you have developments like Cedar Valley that are, even though they're part of the town legally, they're not part of the village, they're they pay the sewage fees. So that they have, you know, dignified.
That's where we.
Wouldn't it have made as much sense to reduce to add, rather than adding 2 members from the town, and we just added 1, to have 5 members of 3 members instead of 5? Why? The point is very simple. If the town could work, and I respectfully disagree that the town and village trustees put in as much or not any more work than the town, than the sewage commissioners. Why, there shouldn't be a need for 7. If the town and village can get by with 5, how much more work is there? Okay, that just seems logical. The point I'm trying to make at great lengths is that other towns have sewage commissioners, and they don't get stipends as much as $55,000, $66,000, and I think that's arbitrary, and considering the 10%. Approximately the double-digit increase in fees that may be justified by other means. I don't want to get into that. I'm not averse to that. I don't know what the details are. You want to save some money and take the burden of the people like that are using these sewers and the water. Reduce. What? How long has the fee been at $5,500? Just got $6,000.
Increased last year.
I mean,
Was it increased last year? It
Yes,
was increased last year.
And it was not increased this year.
And it was
It
not
stayed the same.
increased in 2023, it was
No,
increased in 2022.
has there been any research on what other similar sewage commissions get in Dutchess County and the environs?
We have.
Because I've seen figures that they're getting substantially lower stipends.
Okay,
Which places, I'll make sure to look them up.
yeah, which place is Harvey?
Okay, has the research been done?
I said
I've
I've
seen,
looked them up.
now that they may have different jobs to do and their responsibilities might be greater, so that might account for it, but
Okay.
somehow somebody's got to give in somewhere to take some of the burden off of the people using the sewers and the waters in this village. We're fortunate. We have our own well out in Holmes, okay? But there are people, you know, they have water. We have water districts there, and people pay for it. But one other point, and then I'll let go, because I appreciate
Yeah,
your
we need to allow for others.
being solicitous. I'm solicitous of your time. Is there any? Would it not make sense to have a citizen on the versus just elected officials on the sewage commission? Is there anything in the bylaws of these commission that would?
We can look into that and consider it.
Okay, it could.
We could.
So Mr. DeRosa could still stay on, even though he's not. I think fortunately, unfortunately, is no longer so, because I think he
Phil's gonna be a
do.
big loss for all of us. At
What?
the town level and at the commission, Phil is going to be a big loss to us, so, yeah.
Well, what doesn't have to be a loss, does it?
Well, at the moment it does, the way it's
No,
set
no,
up.
you just told me that the bylaws don't
No, I
specifically.
didn't say that.
No, then I misspoke.
I
they
said
don't
we would
specifically
consider it and look into it, but I don't know if the bylaws do or not. I would have to ask legal counsel to look into that.
Okay.
And that's what I said, that I
So,
would
so,
look
so,
into it.
so you do not, so it's not specifically stated
I
in
don't
the
know,
bylaws?
Harvey, I don't have it off the top of my head, so I said I would look into it.
Well, I would think that would be something that you would know,
Well,
who
right
is
now-
eligible. I mean,
Right now,
there's
as
certain
far as I-
eligibilities, I would assume.
Right
Okay.
now, as far as I know, it's elected officials only, but I will look to see if it allows for something different.
does anybody legally appoint the 5 members of the village board as commissioners? Or how, or do they get it by de facto, that they are members?
Right now,
The bylaws state that all the village trustees
In our
will.
IMA, it currently states the 5 village trustees and 2 representatives from the town at the supervisor's choice. That's how our IMA
Madam Mayor?
currently reads, yes. Joe?
This is Joe Ariel. Yes, may I speak for a moment?
Sure.
Yeah. So, sir, my name is Joe Ariel. I'm with Van de Water, the law firm.
So you're
and I just
neither
wanna
a
mention-
commissioner, you're not a
Let him
commissioner.
speak.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
He's our attorney.
He's turning, fine, okay.
Yeah. I just want to say the intermunicipal agreement set forth the composition of the board, and it is set forth the way that it's constituted now, and the commissioners, just like with any agreement, can consider, as the mayor has said, or as the commissioner has said, can consider modifications to that agreement. And in fact, later in the agenda, we're gonna mention the fact that there's always things to discuss about the content of that intermunicipal agreement. So nothing is impossible to do, and it'll be a consideration of the entire commission. And it is it's a comment period on the budget. So I don't know that it's fair to get into a full dialogue on all of the aspects of that and what would need to be done. But as you've been told, it's certainly something that could be considered, and the entire commission will consider.
Okay, then, I am gonna leave with just this one statement. I appreciate that, council. And I would hope that the 7 members of the commission make changes that I think are appropriate in lieu of the substantially increased costs on the people using the services here, and reduce the number to 5, and substantially reduce the stipend. I mean, we're supposed to be volunteers here. This is not our primary job, and I think that's the right thing to do. And I would really hope, because this does not affect me financially to any degree, but in terms of fairness and transparency, hopefully this will be considered. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else who'd like to speak?
Good evening, I'm Carol Compton, my address is 5 Spruce Street. I would support Harvey's comments generally, but I will say it differently. I have some questions.
Okay.
What is the, quote, salary, unquote, of a village board member?
What does that have to do? This is the sewer commission.
Yes, I understand.
So the village board salaries do not have
Okay,
anything to do with
I'll have to
the
find that,
budget.
I'll have to find that out from them, okay. When you wondered if there were any other towns that you could look at for comparison
Mhm.
for stipends for the commissioners, I would suggest that you look at Wappingers, Armenia, and Dover Plains
Okay.
as a fair comparison,
Okay.
okay? Who represents the town board among the body of commissioners? Who represents the town?
So currently, it is James Schmidt
Okay,
and Phil DeRosa with Jim McCarthy as an alternate.
okay, all right. And is that the plan for the year coming?
That is what's currently in the IMA, so until the IMA is changed, that is currently where it stands.
Okay, and how then does information from the sewer commission get translated back to the town board?
So your two town representatives, that's why you have representatives that sit on the sewer commission,
Right.
should be bringing it back to the town residents.
Okay,
It should also be brought and discussed at a town board meeting.
right.
If you are a sewer user
Mhm.
in the town, anything that goes out to our users would come from Christine, who is our staff member for the Pawling Joint Sewer Commission.
Okay, thank you. I thought I had one other question. Oh, you know, it just stands to reason that if we are operating in the red and we know everything is going up, has gone up, and is gonna go up more, it just seems to me that it stands to reason that nothing would be lost among the work, among the commissioners, if it was a downsized group. If, for example, it could be a I didn't know if Harvey was gonna say 5. If, for example, it could be a 5-member group instead of a 7-member group, that's that's $11,000 right there. And so I would really strongly encourage you to rethink, is it possible to do the same with fewer bodies? Because of course, what's going to pay these bills will be my and your tax dollars. So, you know, $5,000 seems like a lot to me, especially when I have looked at other towns. And I'm glad to hear that you will do some research and to consider it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So I'm gonna move down into, does anybody now, after the public hearing, have any questions or concerns regarding the budget? Okay, so can I entertain a motion to approve, the 2024 proposed budget?
Make the motion.
And I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Hope that everyone's had a chance to read our minutes from our November meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any questions or comments regarding minutes? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the November 2023 Treasurer's Report as presented, can I get a motion to approve that, please?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
And any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then can I get a motion to approve the November 2023 vouchers as presented in the prepaid vouchers?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we have a transfer, make a motion to transfer $97,871.57 from O&M account to the checking account to pay November 2023 vouchers. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so now with Dan Stone from Labella is going to be retiring. We are still going to keep Labella as we do continue to have contracts with them, but I would also like to bring on another engineering firm, Cedarwood Engineering. I think we've all had a chance to meet them, go over what they've offered for our services here. So does anybody have any questions regarding Cedarwood Engineering?
No.
All right, so can I get a motion to appoint Cedarwood Engineering as another engineering firm for the sewer commission?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, reference 76.23, the Generac generator. John, do you have any?
I don't really have an update on it. The generator needs repair. There's a control panel that is obsolete on it. and I'm just waiting to get a photo of it. I found a company that rebuilds them, but they
Okay.
need a photo of it, because it's an old generator.
Okay,
So the generator, is it in our possession right now? or-
Nope, I'm picking that up tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, when you do, be kind enough to take a picture of the control panel. I do need that.
I got a couple questions for them when I go there.
Sure.
Because there is a bunch of control circuit boards inside it. I
Yep.
wanna know which one he is looking at.
All right, they'll have
And-
to address it,
and-
because I don't know. Yeah.
And get a good idea of what we need. I still feel strongly that that generator is worth keeping if we can get
Oh,
it.
I agree with you. I
so
wanna keep
maybe,
it.
so maybe when you're there and he identifies which one, then snap that
Yeah.
picture so that we have the right one.
There are companies that'll rebuild the circuit board, but it is an old generator, and it didn't have immediate reference to the model number there.
Yep, I'm gonna grab
Okay.
that, I'm grabbing that tomorrow. Now, I'll drop it off back off at the sewer plant.
All right.
Or are we gonna work on it to find a control board or?
No, I'll do that.
Okay,
I already identified a company that will probably do it.
okay,
They do it all the time. That's what they specialize in.
okay.
But they wanna take a look at how it's set up and, just to get an idea, is it something they're familiar with or not?
Yeah, I just want him to point out which one it is.
Okay,
This way we're not running blind,
all right, that's fine, because again, I don't know anything about circuit boards or control boards.
nor do I. But
Okay.
it's such a simple unit to run. I mean,
It
it's a
should
great
be.
unit.
It should be.
It's worked very hard for us. That's the one that kept Umshide Well running, correct? For
Well,
24/7 for over a year.
when I was out here 20 years ago,
It was the same one?
It's same one.
Yeah.
It's a good unit.
Yep,
That's great.
yeah, we'll keep it running.
If you wanna forward me a picture of that, I deal with a couple of companies that work with generators too.
Okay, all right, sure,
So
of
I
course.
could ask them to
All right.
help us out anyway.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, reference 77.23 79.23. Oops, I've already moved it. So this is the Village Planning Board looking for lead agency on Pawling Commons, wanting to expand parking in an undeveloped portion of the property. Does anybody have any questions or concerns approving the Village Planning Board as lead agency for the secret process of that?
No,
All right, so can I get a motion to approve them as lead agency?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. All right, reference 80.23. This is a quote from H2O for the installation of the safety ladder and the motor for the mixer at the wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $2,800. Does anybody have any questions regarding this?
No.
No.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve this quote so that we can get this work done?
I'll make the motion.
No second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Reference 81.23, this is a quote from H&A Shrek and Lapolis Electric regarding the Green Lawn Pump Station tune-up and installation. So this is, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a generator at that pump station that has been having some issues?
Yeah, over to Green Lawn, we've been having problems. The generator is
It's not kicking on or kicking on?
34 years old. It's tired, it's not dependable, and getting parts for it is another issue. We had a brand new generator sitting over to West Main Street that was sitting for a few years. We took that down to H.A. Shrek to have them look at it, to go through it. It's been sitting. So I believe they're doing oil change and just making sure to get rid of the mice stuff that was in it and all that. That generator is going to replace the old generator over to Green Lawn with a new transfer switch. I feel it's a good fit. This way it's a reliable generator for that pump station, because it is a crucial pump station for the community.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve this quote from H&H Shred?
I'll make that motion.
There's no second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, reference 82.23, it is, the request for, RFQ for repair on Reservoir Road sewer line. If you recall, back a few months, it was identified that the top of a pipe, and help me out, Dan, if I go astray, top of a pipe that's cracked and needs to, be repaired, and it is quite a ways down, like 10 feet down or something?
May I
Yes,
describe this a little bit?
yes, please.
Thank you. So during the 2023 INI televised program of sewers, we identified at manhole 107 a significant breach in the pipes immediately adjacent to the manhole. It's on Reservoir Road and about 10.5 feet deep. So this constitutes a fairly significant amount of work. I believe the work will be less than the $35,000 limit where we would have to go to a formal bid process under the procurement rules of the village and Pawling joint. But it still is a significant amount of work because we have to consider traffic control, we have to consider the school schedule to safely get bus traffic and school traffic past this area. It is proposed that this work be paid with Pawling Joint Sewer Commission funds. One can think of this while this break, occurs in an area of sewer district number 1 in the town. It still is part of the collection system that Pawling Joint Sewer Commission has responsibility for. And in our current practices, Pawling Joint Sewer Commission has taken responsibility for and paid for these kinds of repairs. I must note as a side comment that the village and town are in discussions about revisions to the intermunicipal agreement creating Pawling Joint Sewer Commission. And part of those discussions, some of the folks on the town side are suggesting that a repair like this should be, the cost of a repair like this should be borne by only those who use the sewer in the vicinity. Meaning, this would become, if that came to pass under the agreement, this would become an obligation of Town Sewer District Number 1, not a general obligation of Pawling Joint Sewer Commission. I am strongly recommending that both parties in these discussions on the IMA consider the potential impact of a modification that would ascribe dollar costs for repairs to individual parts of the system. I think it's an anathema to what Pawling Joint Sewer Commission was created to do, and I would hope that we can find a way to discussing that potential change and hopefully not allow it to happen. Other than that, I recommend that you put this on the street, get quotes for the work. It can be, all the contracts can be arranged over the winter with construction being done in either April or May as the season allows.
Or maybe over the summer when school is out?
Or possibly even the summer, yep, it could go to the summer.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? So basically, it's just for us to put out there and see who will respond and give us quotes for doing the job that then we can review and figure out a plan, a path forward. All right, so can I get a motion to approve the acceptance of this RFQ and sending it out?
Make a motion.
And I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Dan, you're up for sewer district number 2.
Thank you. Again, the working committee that is reviewing the intermunicipal agreement and attempting to make fixes to it, as discussed earlier with the gentleman who commented, identified a situation that exists for town sewer district number 2. That was created to serve the Cedar Valley area and townhouse development. At least the records which I've seen and that the town attorney has provided to that working group would indicate that not all of the paperwork was done completely when the sewer district number 2 was formed, and potentially a separate transportation corporation for the townhouse immediate area. This is a defect that puts both the town and to some extent by extension Pawling Joint Sewer Commission at risk of contravening state regulations with respect to how these kinds of services can be provided within towns in New York State. The town has indicated that it intends to correct the deficiency. It remains to be seen when and how that will happen.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions regarding that? All right, thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Joe, would you like to give us an update on the IMA discussion?
Certainly, yes, thank you. So as we alluded to a couple of times now, the existing intermunicipal agreement is a little dated at this point. There are issues that have been identified by both the town and village executive bodies, the legislative bodies and the joint sewer district itself, about how to best address both a number of operation and management issues, also, the question of rates, as was alluded to earlier in the public comments, the structure of the entire thing is probably in need of a refresher, and there's been a lot of effort on the part of all the parties. There's been a working group put together, as Dan mentioned, that's met several times, circulated some drafts back and forth about ideas of how to handle those things. While those things are all still, part of an ongoing negotiation, I don't think it would be fruitful to lay out in half measures where we are, although I'm happy to answer questions from the commission. But I think that as the commission is aware that there's this working group that's trying to work through some of these issues, and I think there's going to be a meeting of the principals that'll then advise the consultants where, what our next steps should be to get closer to an updated IMA.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. Since James isn't here, Dan, do you have anything to update regarding Castagna?
The new development at Castagna is moving along. The project manager reached out to me, and I reached out to Christine this week. They are asking for the water meters that will be used to calibrate and bill for wastewater services. So they're getting close. The water meters are going in. I was not, I'll do the next one now too, because I was not able to contact the engineer at ASPCA today to get an update. So I don't have anything to report there.
Okay, thank you. Joe, so now I'm going into the consultants' reports. Joe, did you have anything else that you needed to bring to the commission?
No, thank you for the opportunity, but I think the IMA is clearly the focus of our efforts at the moment, and obviously if the commission as a whole, or any of the commissioners have any particular issues, we're at the ready. But the IMA is essentially our report at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Dan, engineers report?
Yes, but I will be brief. The speedy permit requires Pawling Joint Sewer Commission to do an inflow and infiltration study of the collection system and report that to DEC by the end of each calendar year. You have in reference in the minutes, and I think Christine made a hard copy of that available for any of the commissioners who wish to read it. The highlights of the 2023 program are very similar to the highlights of the 2022 program. In the infiltration component, that is the flow component that comes, the inflow component, that is the component that comes immediately after a rain event, is still very high on the east side of 22. That is the area of Town Sewer District number 1 and Trinity Pawling. The 2023 data demonstrated that the infiltration component was higher than 2022. Remember, we were in a significant drought in 2022, so the infiltration, that is the groundwater that leaks into the sewer system, was somewhat reduced. So the infiltration component increased slightly, dampening the relative value of the inflow component. So inflow is still significant and still a concern, but the data set, the way it played out, seems to have obscured some of that. We've been careful to, in our report, to point out that there are significant inflow concerns on the east side of 22. As a result of that is the work that you just authorized going out for a quote to repair near Manhole 7. We also met with the officials at Trinity Pawling to talk with them about two of the sewers that were identified on their property as having significant deterioration. And we believe that it is important that they undertake a program to invest in their collection system every year and sequentially remove both inflow and infiltration, because this extraneous water is costly to treat and makes it more difficult to meet our effluent limits. We had a peak flow day this year of almost, for a 24-hour period, of 2 million gallons a day. The plant was designed for a daily throughput of 0.75 MGD, and the operators did a wonderful job keeping the water within the limits of the plant and shutting down aeration processes to allow that extraneous water to go past. But it's something that really must be addressed in the years going forward. If, with your permission, Labella would submit the I&I report to DEC tomorrow. It has been through Labella's quality control quality assurance program, that is, meaning it was reviewed by at least 2 senior engineers above the engineer who wrote the report, including me, and we are satisfied that the report meets the standards of the state of New York for submittal. So if, without objection, I would seek permission to submit that tomorrow.
All right, so to proceed with that, can I get a motion to approve the submittal of the I&I report by Labella to DEC?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Rich, do you have anything?
Is Justin on the line?
Oh, I don't know. Justin, are you on?
Nope.
Rich, you're it.
You guys have been hit with some high expenses for things that have been going wrong. It's gonna be good working with Cedar Woods, sitting down with the commission and maybe looking at our budget, what we have, and possibly expecting the next VFD to go bad. If we could pick it up now, we might save money, you know, down the road. Everything is getting expensive. I think we should sit down and really focus on the VFDs. I think is probably the biggest thing.
Rich, are they rebuildable?
As far as I know, no.
No, okay. All right, thanks.
We have a couple motors to replace. A lot of these motors, like the motor we just ordered and came in, that sits out in a tank in the open. There's no grease fittings, things like that. So after 4 years of constantly running, it's gonna go bad. Right now, we're dealing with the digester mixers aren't working. They're down in a tank, in sludge, just underwater. So that's the next thing we have to look at. We're not in trouble. We still have air in the digester keeping things stirred up. But that'll be the next thing that we have to look at once we get the SBR mixer back in. We can look into that. And again, these things aren't easy. We could have the village come over with their machine to pick the lid up off to get the mixer up out of the tank. So a cost effective wise, it's gonna be worth working with the village highway to get that taken care of. Otherwise, the plant has been good. Justman's doing a great job with the I&I.
I have to say, he has worked very hard and manually operated that plant when we've had these strong storms that we've had, to make sure that we don't have anything leaving the plant before it's supposed to and the way it's supposed to. And I give him high kudos for that, because when we had those wicked storms the beginning of July, he was there 24/7 operating that plant manually to make sure that we stayed within our boundaries.
Yes,
So
and he does an amazing job. He's very self-conscious.
Yep.
He takes the initiative that he knows there's a storm gonna come in.
Yep.
He's out there. And again, him and I talk back and forth because I'm down south doing the same thing.
I checked in with him on Saturday to make sure that he was all prepared for Sunday's weather, and, you know, I check in with him all before rain events, so.
He does an amazing job. I'm really happy with the operator out here with him. He's very good. And his staff is good too.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Rich?
No.
Thank you, Rich. Before I ask for a motion to close the meeting, I just wanted to say thanks to Phil for all his years. I know officially it was short, but unofficially, you were the one here quite often, all the time, working hard for the town and for this commission. So I want to thank you for all that experience that you brought and all that hard work.
Well, thank you, and then,
I
I'd
hope
like
to
to
see
say,
you sitting in those chairs once.
I would like to say, I actually worked on the plant, when I was a union carpenter in the early 80s when they were building it, those round tanks. I did the concrete formwork in there, back in '82. But, no, thank you, and it's been quite enjoyable, and I want to thank everybody I've worked with here, and I would just like to say, as far as the IMA, I know there's been a committee working on different things, and the makeup of this board has been a discussion. And my own feelings are, and I'm surprised Harvey was here today to make his statements, but I kind of agree with Harvey, which doesn't happen too often. But I think the board should be made up of 5 members, myself, 1 member from each, the boards, the town and the village, and then 3 members from the public. 1 member from the commercial developer, 1 member from the apartments, 1 member from the residential. And I think that would give a fair, expense. The main job of the commissioners to make sure that the commission is run properly, and the bids are done properly, and to oversee all that. And I think that would be a good board makeup. And so in my final statement, I will make that and go away to retirement in South Carolina. Thank you. But I'm here for any questions or anything I could do to help in the future.
Thank
Do
you.
not hesitate.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
All right, so,
Excuse me, I know public comment time is over.
No.
But I would just like to say that I think that that's a brilliant suggestion, what Mr. DeRosa just said.
No, we
So-
still have some visitors' comments. so-
Yes, and I'm trying to close the meeting so we
Yeah.
can go into those
Okay.
visitor
Oh, I'm
comments.
sorry.
I get it.
All right, so can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting and go into visitor comment?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay, so I just said what I said, sorry.
All right, we heard you.
Okay,
Thank you.
again, Harvey Matkowski, Homes, New York. Mr. DeRosa just verified what I've been trying to state in probably a more succinct manner. But he's a rational guy, and we're gonna miss him.
Yep.
But you're not gonna be shoveling snow as much in the Carolina as you were up here. So, good for your heart, you you got your bike, enjoy life.
I will.
I'd like to thank the commission for the opportunity to speak, but I ask a simple question. There were two gentlemen on the speaker. One was the attorney. Who was the other
Jan
gentleman?
Stone is our current engineer.
So he's not a member?
No, he's our engineer.
No, but he's not a commission member?
No.
Okay, so there were five
The
two of the
attorney's
commission
not-
members, I put on the record, were absent. That's all, okay. I didn't know whether Mr. Stone was a commission member. So it seems that you guys are looking into the IMA, and I don't know if the attorney's still around, but what is the procedure to amend the intermunicipal agreement? How does that work? Is the attorney still there? No?
Well, I can speak to that
Okay.
if he's not.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically the.
I am still
Oh,
here,
okay.
but I'm sorry. You'd like me to speak to it?
I'm sorry?
You'd like me to speak to it?
Sure, you can speak to it.
So no, the two municipal boards, the village board and the town board, would have to approve an amendment because it is any amendment, any new agreement, because it is an intermunicipal agreement between those two towns to coordinate efforts in some way with respect to the sewer commission and the operations of the town and village. So that's the procedure. The procedure is that
I was just gonna say, Joe, the procedure is we have a working group, a smaller working group that's working on it currently. That working group will bring it to the full commission. The full commission would vote on it, and then it goes out to the village board and the town board to also vote on it.
Okay, is that opportunity only once a year, or can it be done at any time?
It's
interim?
whenever the commission
Okay,
feels
so-
that they wanna
so,
look into it
okay,
for whatever
good.
reason.
Okay, because there were some questions about other things. The only other questions I had are, that the member, as the head,
Chair.
of the committee, as the chair of the commission, do you appoint the members?
No,
Or-
no, I already explained, right now, currently in the IMA, it is the entire village board, board of
Oh,
trustees.
okay.
And for the town, it has 2 seats, and they
But it
are,
was just one, they just added one, right?
correct, so now currently, I'm saying what the current IMA says, there's 2 town board seats, and those are appointed by the supervisor.
Okay, you've answered it. Again, I wish all that observe a happy Hanukkah, everybody else a Merry Christmas, and
Happy holidays to everyone.
happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.